Hey everybody, Chris here. We're having a little pump in Dogecoin today based on what? 401k accounts? That's right, retirement accounts with cryptocurrency. We're going to talk about that in this video. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel. Hit that little notification bell too. You can be notified when new videos come out as well as when we do live streams. And we have another live stream on Thursday afternoon where we're going to be giving away more Dogecoin. That's right, giving away Dogecoin. 8 consecutive days now of Dogecoin giveaways here in August. So come in, join the fun, make sure that you're subscribed, you got your notifications on. We have a pump in Dogecoin today, that's right, as well as other cryptocurrencies. We'll take a look at all of that right now. Let me show you the news and the charts. I'll show you what I'm looking at. We start here looking at the current Dogecoin chart, and we're up to 21.4, and we did hit 21.5 on this big surge in the price of Dogecoin this morning. Yes, yesterday we were at 20.5. And today we're at 21.5. Thanks to this pump, we have Bitcoin up over $116,000. We have ETH coming up over $3,800. So big pump across the crypto market this morning. And we'll see later today whether this is sustained. Do we stay up at these levels throughout the day here, or will we continue to go higher? And when is President Trump actually going to sign that executive order? What executive order? What are we talking about here? Let's get into it. First, yesterday, we were live. We were looking at this Apple announcement. Tim Cook was in the Oval Office, right? Gave President Trump this glass thing, right? That was just like, what is that? Why are you spending money on that? He doesn't need a 24 karat gold bar thing with the... I guess it was all to show the glass is being made in Kentucky for the iPhones and Apple investing big in the United States. And like, okay, I get that. That's good for the United States country. But what is going on? So this was back in July, right? Yes, actually it was the 17th when it was announced that President Donald Trump is preparing to sign an executive order that will allow American retirement accounts to invest in and hold cryptocurrencies. So what was that? And what happened back then? Let's go back to the 4-hour chart and let's take a look. Because we go back to the 17th of July. Where was the price? It was right here at 21 cents. That's right. We had just had a pump up that we had gone from like 16 cents. Right? And we had pumped up to 21 cents. And then that news came out on the 17th. And look what happened to the price of Dogecoin. Now, I'm not saying that is going to repeat again quite at the same level, but this is the kind of pump in crypto that can happen based on the news. So this was the initial news, and that's the hype. But today, that's right, today we get President Trump to sign an executive order today allowing cryptocurrencies in 401k retirement plans. So this is today. We will be watching what happens. So far, we have this pump going. Is it going to be reminiscent of this run, though? Is crypto going to have that momentum to carry up? I mean, Bitcoin back then, too. I mean, Bitcoin was up higher back then than it is now. But it did get a little pump here. Now, Bitcoin had already hit an all-time high and had some selling, right? Some profit taking that happened right before then. But it did pump up a bit to about 120K, but then profit taking again. Everything outside this green box here that we have on Bitcoin. Every time it came up to this level, it sold off, and then we were getting lower highs on Bitcoin, but not Doge. Doge just kept going up and then finally reached up to the point where profit taking hit. And that's how Dogecoin trades, right? That's how Dogecoin trades. And of course, we were also watching this, reverse head and shoulders. And my prediction was if that reverse head and shoulders played out, we would see Dogecoin trade back above 21 cents, come back and retest as support, and then move higher. That was just 2 days ago. Well, today, now, it's playing out. So, again, reverse head and shoulders. It's lines on a chart. But the actual trading does follow those kinds of patterns. And I would expect Doge to do something like that. We could have a retest during the day as we're watching Doge. Let me zoom in a little closer here. So we could have this pullback to 21, and then we'll see whether 21 holds and whether Doge moves higher. So that's the big news. Trump to sign the executive order today, opening path for crypto and also private equities and like real estate. This whole tokenized real estate thing is going to be some kind of digital thing. So all of that, they're going to open that up to retirement accounts. And that doesn't mean your retirement account can offer that, because you have your own plan administrator for your retirement accounts, and they may not go the route of crypto and private equities. That's up to them. It's risk management, right? There are many who are going to be way too conservative that are going to say, nope, too risky. We're not going to allow you to do that. So it depends on your own retirement plan administrator and whether they go for that. But what does this mean overall? Look, we were looking at Bitcoin before. We zoom out and we look at this big wedge coming up here, and where Bitcoin finally came above that rising resistance line, retested it, and is about to move up. And where is it going to go this fall? And why I keep saying this fall? Why do I keep saying this fall? I'll get to that. We'll get to that in a minute. And then we have ETH as well. ETH in this giant formation here. The ETH breakout will send it to $4,000 sooner than you think. And not only $4,000, but then we have these other $7,000, $8,000, $10,000 ETH predictions. And we covered ETH on yesterday's live stream. So if you're interested in a lot of ETH charts, just look at the first 10 minutes of the Wednesday live stream. And I covered a lot of ETH charts because Ethereum and Dogecoin, I believe, are going to lead this coming alt season that's coming up this fall. ETH setup is all about that $4,000 test. Institutions are piling in via the ETFs and wallets. $11 billion in big money holdings, million plus ETH pulled off exchanges, signaling conviction. That's all happening with ETH. So ETH on the MACD, even Trader Allen, right? He's showing ETH, right? He's showing the bullish crossover here that signaled ETH's turnaround. And here comes ETH moving up, looking bullish. That MACD crossover is looking very bullish for ETH. And ETH is now turning around and outperforming Bitcoin. And we have the same thing happening with Dogecoin. And speaking of Doge, Alan, of course, has a nice little colorful chart here on Doge on the 8-hour chart. I don't know how that works with all these overlaps here. This isn't like the true, it's this Heiken Ashi thing. I don't understand what that is, but I guess it's gaining upward momentum. But I don't need a Heiken Ashi chart to tell me that. I can just look at the actual price chart and see that there's upward momentum here going on. But that's what we do, right? Look at this. The FedWatch tool for interest rates for the September 17th Fed meeting, now 93%. 93%. Now there's a jobs report that's going to come out this morning, right? What's the unemployment numbers? If the unemployment numbers actually tick up a little, even if it's just a little bit, that 93% we see here is going to tick up even higher. 94, 95, 96, right? And it's going to be like the Fed's got to cut rates. And that's coming mid-September. So, like I said, we're going to chop through August into mid-September was my prediction. And then come mid-September, we were going to start to see that ramp up into the fall alt season. That is coming. It's all lining up. Meanwhile, we have our friend Vision Pulse. Dogecoin doomed to chop? It's just that, there's that word. Sounds like VP right there, right? But yet, he's bullish that 90 cents to $1.50 could still happen, and it's going to take a little while. But this is a whole article on a recent video by VP, our friend, and that is, it just sounds like him, right? We're now setting a Guinness World Record for most days below the all-time high for Dogecoin. So, that's the kind of thing that he looks at, which is fine, It is what it is. Structural weakness in Doge's market cycle. Is it, though? I mean, that's how Dogecoin trades, right? And we know that. So, he looks at the global M2 money supply and just does that overlay thing, like a lot of other content creators have been looking at. And it looks like that, we bottomed out in June, and how that is coming around does seem to support Bitcoin, ETH, and Dogecoin. But could we still be bearish? Technically, yes, because it's always bearish forever and ever. That's VP right there, right? But overall, it's this choppy consolidation structure, which I've been talking about, similar to phases, eventually resolve to the upside. So VP doesn't dismiss the possibility of a rally in the near future, particularly if price holds current levels through mid-August, cautions that the bullish case remains conditional. If Dogecoin can do this exact move on the sideways accumulation, we're chopping through the rest of August, then it should turn bullish. So that's what he's looking at. And his targets are like, 91 cents. Could begin to mark a top under the right conditions. And I'm like, 91 cents, that's pretty good, right? And we could even run towards $1.50 or even $2, and VP says, look, even I used to say $2. I think the highest I could go for a moon boy expectation right here in the vicinity of $2, maybe $1.50. And we're like, I'll be happy with $1.50. That's fine for this cycle. That would be awesome. So maybe VP is even more on the bullish side, although he has kind of these bearish tendencies and words that he says. But that's awesome. Look, Dogecoin trading very well this morning. We do have a pump going on. Will this level out today, or will this continue through the day? We'll see what happens. Again, I'm recording this before the stock market opens, before we get those new jobless claim numbers. So we'll see how that affects the markets as well. We'll be live later. We're giving away more Dogecoin too. That's right. We're having a Dogecoin giveaway again, 7th day in a row. So join in on the live stream. Hey, leave a comment below. What do you think about your retirement account, your 401k, if you have one? Maybe you should start one, put some Doge in, because you know what happens inside a retirement account, right? It's tax-free. That's right. That Doge will grow, and you won't have to pay tax and no capital gains taxes on that increase in price if it's all within that retirement account. And of course, you don't touch it until you turn 59, whatever the rules are going to be by the time you get to age 59. That's what we'll be talking about. So let me know your thoughts below. Give the video a like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I appreciate the support. We'll see you next time.